Hello, my friends. My name is Darren Gerdes, and this is a daily brief. So, the pace of fighting has seemed to slow some. Now, you wouldn't know it from the casualty figures, but if you look at the number of tanks and armored combat vehicles and fuel tanks that are reported destroyed yesterday, it seems like it's tamped down just a little bit. The ISW seems to have confirmed that as well. The rate of Russian advance west of Avdiivka has recently slowed, although Russian forces likely retain the capability to intensify offensive operations in the area at a moment of their choosing. So that slowed down. Maybe that's because of what other things have gone on, the drone strikes into Russia, the incursions with the Russian Legion, etc. 2 reported killed in Ukrainian strikes on Russian regions. Russia's border regions of Belgorod and Kursk have been targeted again in a series of Ukrainian drone and missile strikes that killed at least 2 people, wounded several others, caused material damage. Now, this was not nearly as significant as the previous 2 days. Defense Ministry in Moscow said on March 14th that it had thwarted another attempt by troops from Ukraine to cross into Russia's Belgorod region, following a similar claim on the 12th. And, nothing to see here. Now, Russia constantly claims that, so you have to be careful. Here's something that's a little bit of a better source. War Translated, Dmitry says, if you're just waking up and don't understand what's happening in Belgorod, around 6 a.m. local time, there started shelling of the city and other settlements in the region. Meanwhile, Imperial Russian sources, I like the way that he talked about that, about the Russian soldiers, Imperial Russian sources also tell about clashes against democratic Russian forces, and they were talking about the Free Russian Legion and others that are working against Russia, is not fully clear, but they're unlikely to be entering any major settlements. As of now, though, reports of shelling continue to come through. So I think that's probably fair. The Russian Volunteer Corps is one of the groups fighting alongside the Ukrainian armed forces against Moscow, called on the residents of Kursk, Belgorod, and Bryansk regions to evacuate or take shelter because they're going to shell. But it doesn't look like they're actually going to make the kind of progress that they would want to make. It looks like it'll be minor skirmishes. Okay, next. So President Biden and the Americans are looking at what Putin has been saying over the last couple of days, and Putin's been saying, if we need to, we'll use nukes. Well, he's using a red line. The Americans, the U.S. sees no sign that Russia is actually preparing to nuke Ukraine. He's been using that red line, and like I said last night in my 3 big stories, if Russia didn't have nukes, this would all be over a long time ago. It's only because they can hide behind that nuclear threat that they're just not beat to smithereens because of what they've done to Ukraine. How the Czech Republic has just stopped Putin cold and saved Ukraine. Yeah, it's fair. I want to give props to the Czech Republic for stepping up and filling the ammunition void that's there. But you have to understand, in the big picture here, the ammunition bought by the Czech initiative could reach Ukraine in June. It's not going to be until couple months from now before they actually get that ammunition that they've sourced elsewhere. So that's how things are actually working. Last little bit, if you're not familiar with Greg Terry and all the great work he's doing, you can follow him on his channel. This is him with Johnny Pierce talking about the fundraiser that they're working on. This is his channel. I urge you to check it out at Greg Terry Experience. All right, last little bit. How many of the countries incorporated into the USSR chose to join the new Russia-led empire back in 1991? How many fled into the arms of NATO because they didn't want to be part of this anymore? That's really the picture that you want to look at. Look at this former Soviet Union and the countries that are here, and then look at the Warsaw Pact countries, and then look at the map of NATO today, and it'll be very, very telling. All right, that's all that I have. Thank you for your time and attention, and the likes and the shares and the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.